Hi guys, this is Charlie with Boxing Focus. So I've just rewatched the Mayweather Pacquiao fight for the first time. Now, I scored it 9-3 on the night, and on the night I felt that it was a fairly easy fight to score. I was a bit drunk, I was tired, obviously caught up in the moment, your heart pounds in these big events. But now I'm calm, now everything is at ease in my world. Rewatching it, I'm absolutely amazed at how the fight was interpreted, at how much Mayweather misses. Man, is he inaccurate in this fight. And I'm almost at a loss to explain why the public perception has been so wrapped around Mayweather's performance, because it's really not that good. So yeah, I scored it 9-3 on the night. I'm probably watching it. I've got in my notes here 4 rounds each that I felt were quite clear, with 4 swing rounds. And the swing rounds include the 12th round where Mayweather's really negative, so I'm struggling really to even give him that one. So really, that probably 5 rounds to 4 for Manny. But yeah, I think that one of the things that happened on the night was there was an expectation of Mayweather and an expectation of Pacquiao. So the expectation of Mayweather is he slows down the fight, and he makes Pacquiao miss. He doesn't get caught up on the ropes that often. He's quite elusive, and be flashing that counter right. And because the fight was fought at that kind of pace, and these kind of things seemed to be happening, it was very easy to just give Mayweather a pass and just give him the benefit of the doubt on shots that were actually missing or being blocked. Meanwhile, for Pacquiao, the expectation was that he'd be coming in with big left hands, or sharp right hooks. And one of the punches he landed most frequently is actually the right. No, it's not really a jab. It's more of a. It's not a hook, but he kind of steps through the jab, and he was landing that pretty accurately. Left hand he was swinging with quite often and missing. But because he was fighting at quite a slow pace, even though he was having his successes, it was kind of the feeling was it wasn't enough. He needed to be doing more. But in reality, he's actually doing more than Mayweather. It's just because he's expected to do more. He's getting less credit for it. Whereas Mayweather's not expected to do much, so he's getting lots of credit for the fact that not much is going on, when he's actually hardly landing punches. I mean, the first round, Mayweather lands 2 great lead rights. Pacquiao hardly does anything. Round 1's clear Mayweather round. Round 2, Mayweather barely lands a thing. Perhaps the occasional glancing shot. The vast majority of his shots hit either air or guard, and Pacquiao lands a few. Because Pacquiao's the only one landing really in round 2, you've got to give it to. I've put it down as a swing round because Pacquiao didn't land enough to take it. But again, Mayweather barely landing. Round 3, Mayweather hits almost nothing but air. Pacquiao lands a couple of good rights, a few good body shots, and a couple of flurries. At the end of the round, Lampley calls. He says, hard right hand for Mayweather at the end of the round as Mayweather tries to counter, and the replay shows it was clearly blocked. And then they announce CompuBox stats. Floyd has landed apparently 20 out of 41 power shots to this point. Now, including glancing blows, I would struggle to even get to 10. I wouldn't be surprised to be counting the actual shots landed on one hand. But no, CompuBox has him at 20 landed. It's just so far off. Round 4, obviously Pacquiao's best round. Upon watching it back, actually, Mayweather does land some good shots of his own in this round. He actually probably lands more in round 4 than he does in most of the other rounds. But because Pacquiao's beaten him up a bit and he lands a cracking left hand to set up the first flurry, it's an obvious round for Pacquiao. Now, you might have heard about Pacquiao's shoulder, most probably. Apparently it was injured in the 4th round. This is when it was starting to bother him. He does back off at a strange point. Roy Jones Jr. is talking about not punching himself out, as if that's going to happen. So early in the fight, Pacquiao's not throwing that many punches. But, so perhaps it was bothering him and that's why he's backed off a little bit. But he does seem to be using his right hand quite a lot after it. So, I don't know, I'm undecided on how much it was affecting him at the moment. 5th round, Pacquiao kind of backs off a little bit, which makes sense if his right arm was bothering him. He certainly hadn't thrown enough punches in the 4th round to be feeling the pace, and Mayweather's not been landing enough, certainly not landing really any body shots. But his accuracy does come up a bit in the 5th round, he's doing a bit better. 6th round, Pacquiao hurts Mayweather again, another pretty obvious Pacquiao round. So now this is 6 rounds into the fight. I've got rounds 3, 4 and 6 for Pacquiao. I've only given Floyd rounds 1 and 5, and round 2 is a swing round. But the guys have it 3-3 and 4-2 for Mayweather. So pressing on, round 7 and 8. Round 7 Mayweather starts with some strong punches, but then again misses for most of the round. Pacquiao doesn't throw that much, but when he's using his right, he's quite accurate with it, but he's using it straight. He doesn't really throw that many right hooks. I guess that was the most noticeable thing about his right hand, like the lead right hook, which he's very good at, or the counter right hook, which again he's very good at. He doesn't really use in this fight. Round 8, another close one. Pacquiao lands a hard left hand early in the round, but Mayweather lands some good left hooks late on. I mean, the left hook is probably Mayweather's best punch in this fight. Pacquiao's got a bit of swelling around his right eye at the end of the fight. It's caused by the lead left hooks. It's not caused by the jab. Mayweather's jab's pitiful. I couldn't believe, actually, upon this second viewing, how bad Mayweather's jab was. He barely lands it at all. And the reason that's so important is they're constantly giving him props for using the jab. I thought Mayweather was keeping Pacquiao at bay with the jab. It was just that's just the general narrative, that Mayweather won the fight with the jab, but it didn't do anything. You might say it dictated distance, but not really. If it's not landing, how is it dictating distance? I mean, I guess Pacquiao was moving a lot to make sure it didn't land. But again, I would say the counter to the left hand is the right hook. If he's suffering from problems in the shoulder and he can't throw the hook properly, it's difficult for him to counter it. I don't know. It's just, that the whole shoulder thing's a tough one to call. So again, I've got rounds 7 and 8 down as swing rounds, but everyone's given those to Mayweather because they're fought at quite a slow pace. So the fact that Pacquiao's probably more accurate is lost on everybody. Round 9. Again, Pacquiao starts it with a fairly good big left hand. But yeah, I think Mayweather's a bit more accurate in round 9, and his counters start being a little bit more accurate. Pacquiao lands with a good flurry towards the end of the round, and some good body shots, but again, Floyd finishes that with a counter, so I gave that round to Floyd. Round 10, I don't think Mayweather lands a punch. If he's not landed a punch and Pacquiao lands a few, it's a Pacquiao round. Again, it's fought at a slow pace, and everyone's giving this round to Mayweather, even though he's not landing anything. Round 11, Mayweather starts by throwing a couple of big shots. Not sure any land clean. I think Pacquiao blocks them all, but or gets some kind of glove contact before it lands, perhaps on one of them. But then Mayweather does get some left hooks in. Pacquiao gets him in the corner and flurries, but at this point it's obvious that his right arm isn't quite right. You know, when he flurries against Mayweather in the corner, he doesn't even use his right arm. He's just got it tucked by his side. So I ended up giving round 11 to Floyd. And then the 12th round, I mean, Mayweather's so negative in this round. They both land about the same amount, but given how much backwards movement Mayweather's employing, you'd have to give that to Pacquiao on effective aggression. So, yeah, fascinating. I mean, the actual reality is so different to the general perception of the fight. But, you know, it's in the history books. I'll be interested to see somebody with a bit more time and expertise than me do a round by round takedown, because honestly I don't think Floyd Mayweather landed that much at all. CompuBox stats are way off. My instinctive, I've not counted the punches, but based on that, viewing it second time around, I'd have to say that Pacquiao was way more accurate than Mayweather, and Pacquiao wasn't that accurate. So yeah, I'd be fascinated to see somebody actually go through and count the punches, because I would imagine Pacquiao significantly outlands Mayweather. Again, like that round 10. Have we ever seen Mayweather not really land a punch in a round? Crikey. And that, I don't know. And the commentary is really the playing into this. This is fought at Mayweather's pace thing. You can just hear the confirmation bias oozing through. And confirmation bias doesn't necessarily mean it's something that you support. It's just you've got a perception, so you look for things that back that up. It's and if the fight is being fought at a slow pace, well, that's Mayweather's pace, so therefore Mayweather's doing it. It's like, so I think that's where everybody's coming from, really. And it's human nature, so that's why so many people have done it. I'm beginning to understand why some people scored the fight for Pacquiao. I'm really understanding why Pacquiao felt he won the fight. The question is, how hurt was his shoulder, and at what point was it really affecting him? It's difficult to tell, because he does use it quite a lot, but then again, he kind of had to. By that I mean, if he just went in with only his left hand, Mayweather would have picked him off. He had to use his right hand, even if he wasn't throwing it as hard as he wanted to, or if he wasn't able to throw it from the angles he wanted to. He certainly wasn't able to turn it over. But that doesn't change the fact that his footwork wasn't great. There wasn't much lateral movement. Again, perhaps because he was focusing on upper body movement, it was limiting that. Still, this was a lot closer, this fight, than people have made it out to be in general, including myself. This was a really, really close fight. This is Charlie with Boxing Focus. Kind of astonished. I'd just encourage you to watch the fight back. Whether you're pro Mayweather, pro Pacquiao, watch it back and see what you think of Floyd Mayweather's accuracy. Whether you agree that it wasn't that good a night for him in terms of his own offense. Anyway, I'd be interested to hear comments. Thanks for watching.